Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. On this channel I show my physical media collection of DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks and Laserdiscs and books and all that good stuff. But right now I'm in the midst of a November Noir-a-thon. That's right, November is known as Film Noir Month. So I've been watching some film noir, some of my favorites, and some new ones that I've come across this month. So I've made some really cool discoveries and have added some stuff that I've always wanted to add to my collection. First off, this is a really cool Blu-ray release from BFI. BFI's put out some really interesting movies on video. And this is a movie directed by Robert Wise. And I believe the only way I've seen this has been on TV over the years, and I recently saw it like last year and wanted to check this out. But the movie I'm talking about is Odds Against Tomorrow, and this was a really important film at the time. It stars Harry Belafonte, and he had started a production company, I think with Sidney Poitier, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, he was one of the producers on this, and for it being 1958, 59, that was a big deal. I mean, he broke open some doors in Hollywood. But yeah, Odds Against Tomorrow, it's a crime heist gone wrong. Just people, it's like if the cops don't get them, they'll get each other, you know, with their hatred and stuff like that. So, but the movie stars Robert Ryan, which he does a really good performance, Shelley Winters, and Harry Belafonte. And it also has a really good role by Ed Begley. I think he does really good he's an ex-cop. So let me read this to you, and maybe this will make some sense to you. Embittered ex-cop Dave Burke, played by Ed Begley, enlists ruthless killer Earl Slater, played by Robert Ryan, and gambling musician Johnny Ingram, played by Harry Belafonte, to rob an upstate New York bank. The trouble unfolds, however, when, fueled by racist hatred, Earl clashes with Johnny, and the planned heist spirals into chaos, leading to a violent climactic confrontation. With its exceptional jazz score, social commentary, and atmospheric visual style, Odds Against Tomorrow is a high point in the film noir canon and one of the most important films of its era to address racism. And I agree with that. It's really good. I mean, it really shows the ugliness of it and stuff. It's a very well-made film. A lot of on location shooting around New York, a lot of on the street. A lot of it seems like there's only a little bit in a studio. A lot of it's just on the go, you know. But really good. It's got some extras here. It's got an interview from from 1969 with Robert Ryan. He sits down with the John Player lecture in England and does it's a 63-minute audio-only interview, but it's really cool. And then you got an interview with Robert Wise. There's a short documentary about the movie, and then there is a Q&A with Harry Belafonte from 2009. So, and I believe this came out in like 2014, 2013. Oh, 2016, I'm sorry. So there you go, Odds Against Tomorrow. Highly recommend this. This is the BFI edition, but I believe Olive Films has a Blu-ray also. But the reason I went with this one was the supplements. It had better supplements on it and everything, but they're basically the same print, mostly. So there you go, Odds Against Tomorrow. Next up, this would be a double dip. I already have this on Blu-ray from Kino, and I also have it on Laserdisc, and probably on DVD. But it's one of my favorite Robert Altman films, and this is from 1973, starring Elliot Gould, The Long Goodbye. This movie may not be for all tastes, you know, if anybody knows Robert Altman. It's not a typical film noir, but it's definitely a typical, private eye gumshoe, played by Elliot Gould. He pretty much has a cigarette burning in his mouth continuously through the whole movie, I believe. I think, or his cigarette never extinguishes. But he's a chain smoking fool in this movie. Really cool. It's got this cool soundtrack with the theme song. It's got a great special features collection here. It's got Rip Van Marlow. It's an interview with Robert Altman and Elliot Gould. It's got cinematography interview with Vilmos Zsigmond. Quite a bit of stuff. There's a couple of small documentaries on Robert Altman. One of them, they're interviewing him, and he really doesn't even. This movie never even gets brought up. I think they're only talking about Kansas City, the movie at the time when they interviewed him and stuff. But yeah, really cool. I think one of the other reasons of upgrading to this was some of the special features and stuff, because the Kino is pretty bare from what I can remember. But yeah, it's just one of those movies. It may not be for all taste, but it's one of my favorite Robert Altman movies, and a newer film noir. So there you go. Long Goodbye. Next up, this is a movie I wanted to rewatch. This would be more of a modern film noir, or a neo-noir possibly. But I don't know, I just had it on my mind to, I wanted to rewatch Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent Vice, which is it's a detective story in a very stony way, but Joaquin Phoenix plays basically a kind of a low-rent Malibu Beach or somebody detective guy. He's a beach bum and smokes weed all day and all this stuff, but he falls into this mystery that's very complicated and stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of reminiscent of whatchamacallit, the dude guy, what's his name? Oh God, that movie, The Big Lebowski. It's something like, sort of. Don't quote me, guys, but it kind of. But man, it's one of those movies that it's got a big cast. It's got everybody from Martin Short to Reese Witherspoon and everybody else. But it's a big movie. It's all over the place. So, I mean, this movie and probably his newest movie are the two movies of his that I wrestle with. I kind of, I mean, the new movie, I haven't seen it enough to really do much with it, but this one I've seen it a few times, and it kind of meanders away from me for a minute. It doesn't really stick with you like Magnolia or Boogie Nights or The Master even, but it's really good. It's one of those movies it's going to grow on you and grow on you. So one day this will be a cult classic, and we'll all be, saying we saw it then. So there you go, Inherent Vice. Thought I'd throw a little oddball in there. The next one might not be a film noir, but made by a director that's done some good film noir anyways. But I guess I upgraded to this Indicator release. This is a movie by Sam Fuller, written and produced and directed by him. This is called The Crimson Kimono. And it stars Victoria Shaw, Glenn Corbett, and James Shigeta. So it's basically, it boils down to kind of the relationship of an Asian man and a Caucasian woman. I guess that's the big thing of that, and choosing, friends being split up by a woman and different stuff like that. But yeah, it's got some film noir moments in it. It's got some little stuff, but I don't know. This is up to debate, guys. That's the question of the episode. I mean, what do you think about The Crimson Kimono? Is it anything like a film noir? I mean, it's got some stuff in it, but I found myself mostly just not really into it like a film noir, but really good movie nonetheless. This is an Indicator release, so you got some extras on here. There is quite a bit of stuff on here to deal with Sam Fuller, some interviews. What's funny is there's like a show from France that he was on, where he lays on a a therapist chair the whole time, and he talks about his life for 30 minutes and stuff like that. So that's one of the cool things on that. So pretty cool, the Crimson Kimono. Next up, I wanted to revisit a classic. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Favorite crime detective movie too. Just, man, love this movie. This movie gets better every time you see it. And I wanted to rewatch 1974's Chinatown, starring Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway. This is Roman Polanski's big hit film. I mean, after Rosemary's Baby, and he had an even bigger hit, I think, with Chinatown. And all the goings on behind the scenes, written by Robert Towne. Robert Towne, produced by Robert Evans, which he had a lot of different stuff. It's got a beautiful Jerry Goldsmith score. Man, it's got a great cast. Everybody from John Huston, Burt Young from Rocky, Faye Dunaway, of course, and Jack Nicholson. One of my favorite Jack Nicholson roles of all time. Man, he did so many good movies in the 70s. And man, Chinatown, it's just one of those favorites, you know. So if you've never seen Chinatown, you need to watch this. I don't care if you get a DVD, a Betamax, whatever. You got to see this movie. This is one of the best movies ever made, Chinatown. And finally, I want to follow Chinatown up with its sequel of sorts. 1990, Jack Nicholson got together with the original writer, Robert Towne, and actually even with the original producer, Robert Evans. And a lot of the people from the original production of Chinatown all got together, and they made a sequel of sorts called The Two Jakes. And it also gave Jack Nicholson a chance to direct for the third, fourth time. And I think it's good. I mean, it's not Chinatown, guys. That's the thing. It's not Chinatown. This takes place after World War II, which probably maybe 10 years later from the other one, something like that. But everybody had gone to war and come back. He's running a successful detective business. He's got a crew, and he's got a building, and everything's looking up for him and everything. And but he soon gets embroiled in a mystery that's going on in L.A. at that time. But yeah, this takes place in 1948, and has a lot to do with oil and different stuff like that. It's got a great cast, and I think on its own, it's a good movie. I mean, it's easily a 3-star plus movie on its own. Like, if it never had anything to do with Chinatown, these are all new characters for the first time, I still think it's a 3-star movie, and I think it's really good. And it's got a really good cast. It's got everyone from Madeline Stowe, Eli Wallach, Reuben Blades, Frederick Forrest, David Keith, Harvey Keitel, Meg Tilly, and of course Jack Nicholson. So, but yeah, The Two Jakes. If you've never seen The Two Jakes, give it a spin. It's a very entertaining movie. Just the charm of Jack Nicholson alone, is enough. So there you go, Two Jakes. So I hope you guys enjoyed those. Those are some more of the movies I'm watching this month of November for Film Noir month. And so it's just an excuse for me to buy some more film noir and watch movies, which I love to do. So there you go, guys. Any comments? Write them down. If you liked this episode, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I am Mike. Watch film noir. Be happy.